Hi everyone, in this video we will see how to do a JDBC testing or how to do a database testing in JMeter using JMeter and testing on JDBC database server. Maybe it's an Oracle, MySQL, DB2, any other vendor, database vendor like Maria. So I'm using MariaDB now. It's open source. So let me start my DB service first. I'm starting my DB service. It has started. Then in your JMeter, you need to before starting your JMeter, you need to download your drivers for your database software. So if you're using Oracle database for testing, then you need to download the Oracle database version drivers and your Java compatibility drivers into your JMeter, and you need to paste it in lib folder of your JMeter. JMeter, we have a JMeter lib folder. Here we need to copy your lib folder jar file, and you need to restart your JMeter. Otherwise, we can add your jar file into a test plan. In the test plan, if you want to add your jar, you can browse the folder and you can add the jar. So you will get the list of jars what we are using here. So you can add the jars in the class code directly, or you can download the jar file from the Google and you can place it in the lib folder and restart the JMeter. So as I'm using MariaDB, I have downloaded the MariaDB drivers. I have downloaded the MariaDB drivers, Java client, and I'm using it in my connectivity with my server. So the points to be considered when you're doing JDBC testing is whether the machines or LGs what you're doing the test is having access to your database, and the users what you're trying to connect is having access to connect from the LGs what you're trying to do from where you're trying to do the load test. And first, yeah, after making all these points, we'll start our scripting now. So we'll come into the script first. Add a thread group. Add a thread group by right clicking setting. Add thread group to thread group. Then go to config. In the config, you need to add JDBC connection configuration here. So okay, if you select the JDBC configuration, so this is a JDBC configuration, and this is a variable I'm using. So I will use this variable in rest of all my queries. To query this is the connection where my connection is saved, and this is the variable I will be using to send a request, to send a query to compile and run the database using this connection. Okay, so I'm not connecting. I'm not creating a new connection every time. I'm using the same connection and I'm using it as a connection pool, and I'm doing this testing. Okay, and this is the URL, database URL, and this is the database I created, JMeter JDBC testing, and this is the localhost and 33336. This is the default port, and it is a localhost. Instead of localhost, if you testing from other machine to server, you need to mention a server IP here and the respective URL. You can get the URL part searching in Google. You need to make sure that your host name, port, and database should be matched as per your requirement. And the driver. So as I mentioned earlier, we need to download our driver. So after downloading a driver, you need to select your drivers. If you don't have your driver, select edit it and give the class name what driver it was. And then so as a JDBC it's already having in my local, so I'm taking it in this thing. And this is username and password. Username and password for your database. So username and password, if you have any connection property that you can mention here. I'm giving the root as my user, and password I don't have any password. It's a default password for MariaDB. No empty password. Okay, then I created it. Now write it to thread group. Go to sampler. From the sampler, select your JDBC request. So in the JDBC request, here you can write the query. Is it select statement or is it insert statement or update statement? If you want to run, a select statement, or if you want to do update or insert, so you have different types of statements here. So if you select a prepared select statement, so you can send your values dynamically. can send your dynamically, and this query is compiled at the beginning of the your script added. I mean, before starting your execution of your JMeter, this query will be compiled and saved in JMeter memory. It will not compile, or it will not take from the it will not take as a every fresh query every time. So it will be prepared for all next execution. Okay? There's a difference between the simple select statement and prepared select statement. So for efficient use, I will suggest to use a prepared select statement. So I'm using prepared select statement here. So I'm disabling this. So I already used prepared select statement. I'm using the connection here. So which I use the variable for connection. I'm taking this connection variable and pasting here as a connection. So this is a variable. This sampler will use the connection as a connection source. With using the connection, it will try to send a query to the server. So I'm selecting the users for their ID. So in the CSV file, we have given multiple IDs. In CSV, we have given multiple IDs, user IDs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are 4 IDs. What we used now. So here we'll see we'll open the database client. We'll show you the user details here. Open users. So in the data, I have 4 users, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are different types of users. Now, if you come to the JMeter, there is a query. Now my CSV file starts with the 1. I'm closing this file, 1. Now I will run it for 4 iterations. I will run it for 4 iterations. For each iteration, I need to get different users. So I'm running it. We'll see. Yeah, we got it. The first request is ID, and I'm sending the value as 1 as my ID from CSV file. This is 2, I'm sending the ID from the CSV file. This is 3, I'm sending from the CSV file. And this is 4, and I'm sending from CSV file. And see the response. Test 4 ID value. Test 4 the ID. Test 4 user 4. Right, task incomplete. So we got the response. From the database. Okay, while sending the request, you are passing your variable from the CSV dataset. I'm using IDs here. I'm sending in my JMeter request. And if you're sending multiple values here, you are sending multiple values and the name, last name, first name or last name, first name. Like I will give the value. I'll give the value to question mark, or I'll give the name equal to question mark. So you can give the values comma test. Okay, so for that you need to mention it's a varchar. It will, or you need to mention the string for the data type. For more information, we can go for available data types. We can go for the help document. It will show you the all available variables. We have it. We can pass it. We can send it. So database values. So this is the available values what we can send in our thing. So it's a varchar. We need to mention it as a varchar value. So JMeter will take it as a varchar. And varchar is nothing but a string value. Date is the date, integer is integer, double is double. So other than this, generally we won't use the other kind of things. So if you send this query, by using this, if you want to save these values into other variable names, so you can save it in the variable names and result variable names. So if you want to save the values of this IDs, you need to save list of IDs. Here it will save all the IDs from your database result. The ID from database result will be saved in the variable list of ID. And if you want to save the names as well, so you can save the name. The second index will be saved in here. Second index. The third index will be saved in the third index. Fourth index will be saved in fourth index. So if you want to save all the result into a variable, You can give the variable as a result variable. Result variable, it will hold the complete result of the variable. You can apply it for wherever it's required, as such and for, like, you can send it to another request. So this you can use it on. You can apply the query time node. So like 120 seconds. If it's cost 120 seconds to get a response, it will terminate the request. So if you want to limit the result set count, then I will add 1,000 records to the default. By using this record, we'll get uh, limit of 1,000. We'll get 1,000 first 1,000 records, or 1,000 records returned by the database. So yeah, this is how we need to set up our JDBC testing, and the rest of the part you can schedule your thread group and add within times as per your business expectations and workload modeling, and you can do your load testing. So this is how we need to do JDBC testing. The main points to be considered here is adding your drivers into class path, adding making your user and host name what you're trying to, from where you're trying to connect, it should be whitelisted on your server side to execute your query and get the result. Okay. Thanks for listening, friends.